on the beat.
What is up, YouTube? My Cowboys family here, bringing you guys the latest update on our very own Dallas Cowboys. And of course, as always, thank you so much for joining us here tonight. Take a second to hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. You can follow us anywhere and everywhere at My Cowboys Family. And of course, hop in the Discord. The link for that is in the description box down below. And as everyone is rolling in here tonight, guys, like I said, the alternate title for today's stream could be Dallas is doing shit. So can't wait to talk about everything that's gone on
Free
the
agency.
last few days, and not just that, but MCF is Nostradamus once more, because a lot of things that we kind of talked about in our last stream, came to fruition in the last few days since we've been live, and of course that and much more. Can't wait to touch on that, but of course we have to shout out the people making MCF happen here in the regular.
Yeah, the top spot, the top sponsor of the quarter, JD Burton. Shout out to the OG. Appreciate him. You see him here as a sponsor of the week here, scrolling throughout the entire stream. We also got the man staying skeptical fan. He is the Cash App king for the quarter. Big shout outs to him. You see the 4 ways you can get on that kingdom throne. Shout out to Skeptical fan. And then you got the man Marco Sabian, 100 points on that stream, boss. He is fully loaded. And if you look at the gifting champion, it is none other than NDN Boogie. Shout outs to you, brother, for being the gifting champion, the one who gifted the most memberships. So, on that note, shout out to everybody. I also want to shout out the leaders and some of the people that are added to the leaderboard as well. So, when it comes to the skeptical fan spot there, the Cash App spot, Mr. Skeptical fan, who dropped a couple more in the PayPal and Cash App, added to his lead as the leader in the Cash App side of things. There is no gifting leader right now. No one gifted any memberships yet. Of course, Marco Seppian, you see him there with 100 points. But look right above that, in first place on the overall board, even in front of Aussie and John Luna and A. Lavelle. Marco Seppian is in first place. So shout outs to him as he's currently in the top spot there on the overall board.
So yes, a big mahalo to the man
Yes,
Marco Seppian.
Seppian. So on that note, a lot of ways to drop the love here and help the channel and support the channel. Of course, with the YouTube side, there's that dollar sign at the bottom right of your screen there. That is a Cash App drop, which pops up on the screen. And tonight, if we get 20 of those in this, I think it's got to be green or higher, which is, I think it's 5 or higher. If we get 20 of those in this, going to be a power pack stream. Everybody in there is going to be entered into a kind of a mini raffle to get into the major jersey raffle. You get to choose your own jersey, any name, any number, any size. We'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, that's the way to get into that. One of the ways is hitting that goal tonight. Every name in there. You could have had, if your name was in there 17 times, you got 17 entries. You're going to get in this raffle. You know what I'm saying? So just an example of how that goes. But that's the one way of dropping the love is the Cash App. There's also the thanks button, which we will also count towards the top. That's usually on posted videos. There's also, if you're jumping into membership, which shout out to those that jumped into that since our last stream. I'm going to give extra shout outs to Mr. Aussie, who's back in that star level top shelf membership, and Pat Pfeiffer. Shout outs to you. Like I said, Mr. Skeptical fan also dropped a little bit, as well as Jeremy Betts in the Cash App, who's also on that Cash App board. Shout outs to all you guys for the last time on the board here, dropping love. But that's to the membership. And of course, if you're in the membership, you can also gift memberships to a lucky random person. So we'll see how that goes. Shout outs to everybody again. That helps on all those fronts. But there's 4 other ways you can help out the channel, and that is not the YouTube way. I call it the After Dark special. After Dark way, the Cash App crown, the Cash App king, skeptical fan style. What are other ways they can drop the love?
We have, of course, the Cash App money sign My Cowboys Family, the Venmo at My-Cowboys-Family, and both PayPal links. Main one is the MyCowboysFamily@gmail.com.
And everyone there, paypal.me/MCF2017 is easier for other people. So that's another option there as well. So just for everyone to be on top of that. Shout out to everybody on that side of things. And as we continue, I also want to make sure that we shout out those in the top shelf memberships, which again, because we do this such infrequently in the off season, I would say, or much more infrequent than usual. Let's shout out those in not just the star level, which we do all the time, which there's John Luna and Aussie. Shout outs to you guys, but also those in
Silver level
silver
membership.
level. That's shining silver level member. Where A. Lavelle has 68 months in there. That's our number one membership king in this whole entire thing since the beginning. He's been in it. All you guys have been, but he's been there for 68 months. Shout outs to him. Top Dog Big Bullies, Mr. Darian Bassard, PB, the OG. David Lara, appreciate you, of course, always repping that star for everything. And the Q Man, Justin Quarles. Shout outs to you, all these guys in the silver level membership. Now, who's in the house tonight, baby? When it comes to the shout outs, let's go.
We have Dallas Cowboys R1. What's up?
Yeah.
Stick Aguilar 04. He's out in Mexico City. Said
Yep.
since I've been out here last Wednesday, I've seen a lot of Cowboy fans.
Yep.
People wearing stars on their hats, jerseys, or just a t-shirt. We out here too, young. So representing worldwide. So Rolando Rodriguez, what's up? All the way from South Texas. We have Karam Mawani in the house saying, Jerry's just like, oh, shut the hell up. I'll show you what I can cook. True Cowboy, hello and hi. What's up? Much love. Saying we're moving different this off season. That's what's up. Londa Hanslu making her little dolphin jokes. All good, all good.
That's Hanslu one.
We know your husband's a real fan.
Yeah, we shouted you out last time for the
The
membership.
man himself,
Thank you.
C. Bass. What up? What up? Mackenzie, two times.
Two
Hello and hi. We have Chris Plumage in the house, always rocking with the Go Cowboys. And number one, Mod.
Yeah.
Char Batty, hello and hi. Much love there too. Banshee Hunter, hello and hi.
Banshee, yes.
We have Go Power Rangers. Jeremy Betts, hello and hi. Hopefully you were able to stay up, and if not, all good. Just glad that you were able to say hello.
Yeah.
JD from DC representing. Skeptical fan, always staying skeptical. With that, baby.
I mean, I'm gonna.
People come in. I'll make sure to shout them out. But
and also, I wanted to go back to just the goal possibilities. If there's 20 hits on there, on the teal or higher, that will get you. If there's a big, we call it a John Luna drop, and takes all the spots basically in one drop, then we will just give it to everybody, and whoever's in it will get in the raffle automatically. There's no best of or any kind of pre-raffle. If everybody gets it piece by piece and we build up to it, then everybody in there gets their name in the mix, and we will pick your name out of that at the end of the month or the end of the quarter, and then pick 4 names and put it in there. But we got our first drop, the first hit of the night by Yolanda Hanslu herself with that 5 on it.
Kicking things off officially saying, just bought me a brand new white Dolphins miniskirt. My Cowboys husband and 3 sons are angry because my hubby ripped up my last one, and I was sad. It was cute.
Do you remember how she ripped it up? How he ripped it out? Do you remember how that? We won't go into the details, but.
Yolanda, thank you so much. I appreciate you. And I guess that's an allowed wearing of gear since you are a Dolphins
as long as
fan.
you stay true to your team, that's what I respect.
That's what I said. I'm like,
And that's the key here also for this jerseys, just so you know, Yolanda, as well. You might, if it hits 20, we get 19 more drops like that. And that could be Cash App, it could be anything. We'll count it the same. Even if it don't show up. Right now it is 19 away from that. But if it does get hit and you're in it and you win, you get into the main raffle, and then you get into this raffle, which, by the way, star level members get 1 extra bonus raffle entry. The over everything level gets 2 bonus entries, and the sponsor of the quarter also gets a bonus entry. But the key is, let's say she was to win. She's a Dolphin fan. You can get any team, and not just any team, any sport. So basketball, hockey, baseball, anything. There's multiple college. You know what I'm saying? There's also any name, any number kind of deal.
That's right.
That's a choice there. And any style that's available. Shit, I just got one in. That was a children's size. Or I'm sorry, it was for a child. It was for a teenager, but it was for the order was for like a Gronkowski jersey with the patch of that certain year. I mean, and it came in perfectly. It's crazy. So it's pretty much a lot of different options if you do win that. And you're not a Cowboy fan. You still have a lot of other options. As you can see, though, we deal with Cowboy fans here, number 1. Always go Cowboys. Anyways, I'll shut up. If nobody else jumped in, I guess we'll get it started, baby.
I'm ready if you're ready.
All right, well, guess who's going to start it off? You are, baby, because, we got the info for the pre-big news, and that's going to be the kind of the Dak breakup. Is that what I'm hearing, baby? I mean, you're the one who brought it up to me, kind of brought it, and I kind of looked it up a little bit and saw that there's a little wedding is called off or something.
Yes.
Give me the insight. Give me
the
like quick information on this.
Full in paradise for Dak Prescott. Looks like his fiance and him reportedly called off the wedding over a massive prenup fight.
Damn.
Obviously, as you know, Sarah Jane Ramos is also the mother of his 2 children. They're supposed to be getting married now in April. They're having a joint bachelor and bachelorette party. And apparently, a fight broke out.
Hmm.
Rumor is Dak has been pushing the last few months for, obviously a rock solid prenup, considering he just got, a few dollars here and there, right? Apparently, she flat out refused to sign it. There was like a big fight over it because the tension kind of it just snapped at this party. And apparently the wedding is completely called off. So,
What happened on her Insta? Wasn't there like something take it off?
yeah, part of it too is that she posted pictures, obviously like celebrating their joint bachelorette weekend, like on Instagram and things like that. And some of those pictures were very quickly deleted just a few hours later. That kind of add to the fuel of something happened, something popped off. The other kind of rumor that's out there, though, just to be fair, is that the fight wasn't actually about a prenup. The fight was actually about Dak's philandering ways, and that basically she kind of called him out on it and decided, fuck this, I'm done, can't take it anymore. So you decide what you want to believe. Either way, Dak
story, right?
looks like will not be getting a ring matrimonially.
Some people, and hey, listen, some people will say Dak Prescott dodged the bullet here. And said, hey, you know what? What if she was out for his money? Something came up, and hey, you know what? It just turned into something like that where he didn't feel comfortable enough.
With R1 over here, like the thing that sucks more is I don't care what's going down. These are 2 parents.
Yeah,
exactly. These 2 people have to be in each other's lives and parent these 2 girls. So
I
hopefully
agree.
For their sake, they're able to kind of work things out at least and get along.
I agree, but then there's another question I have to ask it because it is Cowboy related, and that's how is this going to change? You think his mental mindset of Sunday football? When he plays in games.
Personal tragedies. I feel like no offense, much worse than breaking up. Considering his brother passed away and other things like that. While he's had football stuff happening. Yeah. So no, I don't really think that this is going to be an impact. And if anything, he's got more time to devote to football. So
fair enough.
Take that however you want.
So just a couple quick things as we get on away from Dak for now. Let me talk about the 2026 kind of official league year starting, which starts on this Wednesday, March 11th at 4 p.m. Eastern time. So that is the official start of free agency. So everything we're going to talk about when it comes to free agents, the Cowboys are signing from another team, that stuff is not official until that time, 4 p.m. You'll hear all these deals we're going to talk about, whatever we talk about when it comes to a deal that's been made, and not a trade, but a free agent deal. Those are not official until 4 p.m. Eastern, March 11th. So, basically a day and a half. So again, that's the start of free agency as well. The trading period, 2026 salary cap compliance deadline, which I will talk about late in this show as well. The legal tampering began today, March 9th. The greatest rapper of all time passed, Biggie Smalls. Anyways, on March 9th was today, and again, these were the deals kind of get done and sealed, signed, sealed, and not delivered. Delivered is on the 11th. So just keep that in mind. When negotiations started today at noon Eastern time. We're going to talk about some of that here a little bit later. But the official start, like I said, we know the legal tampering period. And then, of course, another big date is, in context to free agency, is the draft. We know the draft is coming up soon in April. It's going to be in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, 2026 draft from April 23rd to 25th. So 23rd, 24th, and 25th. And just a little side note when it comes to a player that I was kind of interested in, Caleb Downs. I know you guys made a mention about his injury. I wanted to reiterate the fact that he was flagged last week with a partially torn meniscus. So there's a concern as well from the doctor saying it could be a degenerative ACL issue. So that kind of changes my viewpoint on things, on getting Caleb Downs. But, if he's there at 12, you still might want to take a chance, right? But not really me. But the move the Cowboys made today makes that I don't want to deal with any Caleb Downs. And the reason is, and remember what I'm going to say, Caleb Downs is a safety. Fantastic. Plays 4 or 5 different positions. Slot corner, slot, which is the nickel cornerback, but also plays like in the box as a linebacker, strong safety type. Also plays free safety, strong safety, deep, plays tight ends and coverage, does all that stuff, helps and run support. Of a better Donovan Wilson, younger, better Donovan Wilson, right? That's what Caleb Downs is. That's why I liked him for our defense, and Christian Parker, our defensive coordinator. The player we got today, and I'll talk about him soon, does those same things and is a proven commodity who was coached last by Christian Parker, our defensive coordinator. Yeah, that's real. So we'll talk about that and more. But the draft, no more talk really about that for now. That was the only draft talk, other than the compensatory picks, which we did get it announced earlier today. The Cowboys we were supposed to get 4, but there was too many guys like Solomon Thomas, some of these guys, Rico Dowdle, they actually knocked off some compensatory picks for us. So, I'm sorry, not Rico Dowdle, but the guys we've got, whether it was Solomon Thomas, a couple others we got that actually knocked off a couple picks. So we only got 2 5th-rounders, which means really late fifth, which end of the 5th round, literally. Like basically second to last in the 5th round, which is pick 180, and then 3 picks above that, which is in the almost at the end of the 5th round. Pick 177. So 177 and 180 are the 2 picks that we got. Nothing great there, but we do have total selections for the draft weekend. We got 2 first-rounders, then we got no second, no third. Do we even have a 4th? I don't know. We got 3 fifth. You know how that goes. So that's the majority of our picks there, 1st round and 5th round. But yeah, that's a light compensatory, kind of refund for the Cowboys. That means we got too many. You could say for the Stephen Jones standpoint, we got too many good players in this offseason somehow, or there were too many good players that were gotten and pushed all our guys off. Either way, they only allow for like 30 something, 32, 35 compensatory picks. So I was qualified for 2 of them. That's our 2 5th-rounders at the end of the 5th, which are basically like mid-6th-rounders, if you want to think of it old school way. Now, any quick questions on that before we get into we're going to dive into this shit. It's going to be good, man. It's going to be a lot of stuff here. So, anything real quick from the chat, maybe? Anything?
Yeah, just real quick. So, Quan06 said I'd still get Downs.
Really?
I said I'm like, oh, I'm surprised. Just I have to be honest, that completely took him
we'll talk
off my consideration for now. But of course, there's still time between now.
It's that he's going to be okay, but it's that and also the guy we got today. Comment. If it was just that at 12, I'd still consider him. But the fact that we got Jalen Thompson today, there's no need. Jalen Thompson does the same exact thing he does.
Changes things.
Yeah, so that's the big kind of like over the top. All right, we don't need to get him. We don't need to draft him.
Rolando said, this is like another Tony Romo and Jessica drama back in the day.
So with Dak,
saying, and then Quan just said Downs and Thompson to make a good tandem tag team.
Yeah, but they do the same thing, so it might be too much of that. You don't want that. You want a free safety that's more of a kind of a coverage guy.
More complimentary.
Yes, exactly.
So Seabass said, I wonder what happens with Osa now because we signed RASHAN. Osa was offered in a trade.
I'll tell you what I think is going to happen. And then there was some trade with Max Crosby in that situation. It was a 1st, 2nd, and Max Crosby. 1st, 2nd, and Osa for Max Crosby. They said no. They wanted 2 first. Cowboys said no. But we'll talk about that in a minute.
What's up, Harley Dad? So
Harley Dad in the house.
I want my dude from LSU, Monsieur Delane. But Harley Dad said MCF. You see the Niners got Mike Evans. You think he's going to help, or you think he's too washed?
He's had like 11 straight fantastic years. 11. I think it was 10. Definitely 10. He had 10 straight last year, not this past year, but last year he had 10 straight years. And did he get it last year? I don't think so, but he got hurt. So he might be older. He might, but if he's healthy, he's going to get you the yards. He's a fantastic player. I still think he's not washed, but he's got a couple of years left at best.
So even Mike Evans in decline is still
better than a lot.
Better than, most dudes on their best days.
To me, it's more
still an improvement.
Unfortunately, an improvement. It is an improvement overall at player, but does he fit their scheme? Is he fit what Brock Purdy and the Niners and Shanahan are going to do? That's the other question.
But he's definitely healthier than.
Well, he got hurt at the end of the year, so that was the big issue, the injury at the end of the year.
He's not like a frequently hurt guy.
No, he definitely plays out seasons.
That was atypical.
Yeah.
Of him, so it's like the expectation isn't that he's going to be like that all the time, even if he ends up a little more banged up than usual.
Yes,
so
I agree.
What's up, Star 185?
So that's Starter in the house. What's up, Starter? Yeah. Hey, by the way, yes, just so everyone knows, we hit uno of 20 right now. So we have 19 more to go there. If anybody hits those, the goal, everyone gets put into a raffle that gets put in, a pre-raffle, so to speak, that gets you into the main raffle for, of course, as you guys already know. If you guys know some of you guys after dark, that jersey raffle. This is a quarterly jersey raffle. So yeah, and it's any team, any sport, etc. You can gift it. You can pick your own, put your name in the back, a number, whatever, sewn and stitched. Great stuff. And yeah, people that are in this automatically. It's a small amount initially, right? Just a star level, a couple guys in there. They get one. The sponsor of the quarter gets one, but then over everything gets two. But then you have we did have a winner last time we went live. We hit the goals, so that I
Yeah.
actually got about 20 people in that raffle. Well, not 20 people, 20 names in that raffle. Let's put it that way. So I think it was like 5 or 6 people into that raffle. So we'll see what happens tonight if we get there or not. We're still a little bit away as we get rolling into the meat of this stream. And don't get excited, Harley Jack. I said meat. Now, it's for the Niner fans out there. Let's go with what did the Cowboys do before we got to today's situation with 2 free agents, RASHAN Gary and JALEN THOMPSON. We'll talk about them. Very, very good players. With the new coaching staff, what did they decide to do when it came to our free agent and Jerry Jones in the front office when it came to your favorite player, baby, Brandon Aubrey? Brandon Aubrey, he was officially, we talked about this last week, but he officially got the tender, $5.76 million on the tender for Brandon Aubrey. So again, he kind of said, I don't think I think I deserve more, but he's basically going to put on him. He's going to play on that tag, probably. He knows it. And he's going to have to just, he said he's going to bet on himself.
Like
exactly.
that, he's betting on himself. That's exactly what I want to see. Put your money where your mouth is. And speaking of, Calvin Richard, man himself with a $5 holler, bringing us from uno to dos.
Yeah, we got 2 on that board.
That's Target saying
18 to go.
It seems the Cowboys are going to beef everything else up and then spend the draft working on the secondary.
That's interesting. That's an interesting little. We're going to talk about that. I want to keep that thought in mind because Calvin Richard is. You're not wrong about that.
Free agency and all is for everything else, and then.
Well, I see it as right now we're going spend the money on defense. Defense is where we're going all out at right now. Defense is the way to go, and I think then we're going to see what we have left for the draft, and then kind of maybe solidify. You might see an offensive lineman drafted in that first round. Not be surprised.
Save my thoughts for like when you talk about some of the rest of the moves, just so that we don't end up maybe like quadruple repeating ourselves. Just talking about it now, then talking about it, you mention it again. I agree. I will say that the Cowboys have surprised me in a positive way, and like you said, we're starting to see some of the picture, and I think we do have a better idea of what they might be leaning towards as far as the draft.
Let me say, you guys,
like I said, just a better idea.
Listen, you guys all know how I feel after last year's offseason. I was like, this is just bullshit. I tell you right now, just in the few things that happened today, I feel better about this better than last year already, this upcoming season. Already, I feel better with the defensive coordinator move, with a couple of little moves here and there. Pickens move. All right, we'll see what happens. I'm not expecting what other people think that's going to happen. I think he's not going to be here too much longer. But
to be fair, part of the reason we do feel better is between Shoddy and Pickens, we have a much better idea of what we have in both of them.
Right.
Last
We've
year,
seen
these
it already.
Were 2 big question marks that were like, how's that going to pan out?
The thing is, we know Brandon Aubrey is one of the best kickers in the league, if not the best kicker, and that's the thing. Though a lot of people wanted him signed to a long-term deal. People were saying he was going to get $10 million, and we talked about this last stream. It was not $10 million. That was bullshit call, by the way, a mistake by Calvin was it Calvin Watkins? Yeah, I think it was him. He apologized, made a mistake, but the point is that the Cowboys offered him supposedly right around $7 million, under $7 million, and it looks like he'll probably take about $7.5 million to sign him long term. This second round tender means if we lose him, we got to get a second rounder for him. And
it's funny because Seabass said, "Someone please give us pick for TJ Bass, and if Green Bay wants Aubrey, we'll take that second pick."
Well, that's the thing. So the Packers are reportedly in contact with Brandon Aubrey's representative. It's not tampering. It's because whatever the reason is. I know it's not tampering, but this was like a little while ago. Aubrey is expected to command the largest deal of a kicker in history. With his reps also at the combine. I mean, again, he had some. His representation was there at the combine, talking to other teams. He could be kicking again anywhere other than Jerry's house, let's say. But what the tender deal, second round tender, makes Aubrey a restricted free. He's a free agent, but restricted.
Okay.
Means that any other team signs him, Cowboys decline to match, we receive a second round pick, which we don't have any. And then the other, again, the other option is we can match that. If we match it, then he stays in Dallas.
Yeah.
There's no choice by him. It's our choice.
And again, it's one of the reasons I'm actually really happy with this because, like I said, it's a win all the way
So
around.
you'll
Although I
take
guess
losing him
Brandon
for a
Aubrey
second
takes
rounder?
absolutely.
You will. Okay. All right. Just making sure.
Even yeah, the only thing that makes me hesitate is our abysmal history with second round picks.
Hmm.
And I do love Brandon Aubrey, but one thing that has been shown pretty consistently throughout the league is someone who does love special teams is there's a lot of dudes out there doing some pretty fun special team stuff. So as much as Brandon Aubrey might not be able to be replaced, I am still confident that we'd be able to get a kicker that would be able to at least get the job done.
I kind of agree.
As much as I love
I
Brandon
kind of
Aubrey,
agree. I'm not saying we should pay him that much.
only if a team is willing to get the
We
pay the
can,
second round for it.
well, no, they have no choice.
That's what I'm saying. Like
If
if
a
someone's
team
really willing to pay
if
that,
a
then
team if a team pays him $7 million and he takes it, then we have to match that. We'll probably match it.
I
But
agree.
if a team pays him $10 million, we ain't gonna match that.
No.
We get the second round pick. That's the way it's gonna play out. Just so you
I
guys,
find it a little difficult to see that a team is going to throw all that money and a second round pick for
for a kicker.
a kicker.
Well, we've been surprised about that. But the thing I'll say is this: even though it's a significant raise for Brandon Aubrey, remember, guys, we got him from USFL. I mean, the UFL. So he was getting like minimum wage. All right.
Hmm.
So the fact that we got him, so cheap, he was making like $900,000 a year. This 1 year tender is a significant raise for him, all the way up to $5.76 million now, right, for a kicker. But he said it's still not ideal for him. He wants one of the top numbers, meaning over $7 million.
And
So
I do not blame him.
yeah. So I
Not
think
when Richard
I think
comes
I think
in.
7.5 million is where the Cowboys probably stop at when it comes to Aubrey. Anything more than that, any team's going to take him for $8 million, and then the Cowboys get that second round pick. But anyway, that's just my guess. $10 million, he's definitely gone. He said he didn't ask for 10, and that's been corrected. It's only the money's been at around $7 million, hovering there. Calvin Richard, yes, he dropped that 5 on it. 3 hits on the goal, 17 to go. What did Calvin have to say?
With 2 first round draft picks, I let Aubrey walk for a second. That's kind of my point. That you guys know that there's no one here who's a bigger fan
of
than
Aubrey
Brandon
than
Aubrey.
you. Mhm.
Rides harder for Brandon Aubrey than me, but even I have to acknowledge that it's kind of like Seabass is saying. Like, I don't know if anybody's actually going to pay him 10 million, but if someone is crazy enough to be willing to do that, how do you say no to that? That's like someone showing up and saying, like, when you're selling your house, saying, "Hey, we're going to pay you double whatever your asking price is." Like, why would you say no to that? Like, of course I'm saying yes, even if I love my house or whatever. So anyway, that's it.
Yeah, and Rolano's saying it. Remember when you don't have a good kicker, what happens? It's the worst thing in the world. I will say one thing, though. There's a lot of good kickers out there, and there's got someone named Kai Forbath. I've been saying him for a while. I think he's an accurate kicker, strong enough leg. You know what I'm saying? I think he'd be a good backup, or not backup, but a replacement if we had to look for kickers. There's a lot of them out there. All right, a lot of them out there, but no one feels to be as consistent since we had Bailey before he hurt himself.
I know.
And then now we have Aubrey, which is definitely the most consistent kicker we've had since then. So, anyways, moving on from the Aubrey situation, the tender was put on him. Same tender, second round tender, put on a couple other players. We talked about TJ Bass, already got a tender, but we also gave it to Reddy Stewart, number 27, veteran cornerback. You might be saying, well, why would we do that for? Well, some people want a veteran quarterback for depth. That's what we want him for. So we decided to give him a very basic second round tender, making him an exclusive rights free agent. Reddy Stewart got $1.005 million. That's it. So no one's going to give up a second round pick for Reddy Stewart. I'm going to be getting you guys ready for that. We also put it on cornerback. Not just cornerback Reddy Stewart, but cornerback Josh Butler, who didn't even play last year, coming off that injury. He played very little, $1.075 million for his tender. So no one's going to give up second round picks for these guys. We have exclusive rights for them. We get first choice on them. So they're staying here. No one's going to pay anything and give up a second round pick for them. That's a guarantee. But again, Reddy Stewart, the key thing here is, guys, we can match another offer from a team. I don't think there's any draft compensation. Let me rephrase that. There is no draft picks for these guys. We don't get. These are not second round draft picks. It'd only be for Aubrey. I think a second round pick, and I think TJ Bass. So these two guys, they would just get we would just get the matching ability. And no one's going to pay them enough that I don't think we can match. If if we really want to keep him, we have the choice there. Okay, Stewart had a lot of playing time at nickel cornerback. That's a spot we're kind of weak at, so you might want to keep him as a backup, what position whatever player we get there to start. But he was solid specifically in the slot for the Cowboys last year. He's a physical player. So again, someone I think that Christian Parker, the new defensive coordinator, wants to evaluate him. A physical player like Reddy Stewart, that's the reason why we want him. If a solid vet, he's a solid veteran. He's good enough. Not something you want to play for 6, 7, 8 games. That guy can play for 2 or 3 for a little bit in the slot. If a rookie can't play right away, if you decide to go with a rookie in the draft. So you got Reddy Stewart to kind of fill in there for a couple games is the point. But again, you got TJ Bass and Reddy Stewart. TJ Bass and right there on your screen, Brandon Aubrey. And you got Brandon in the house. Brandon Shea in the house.
Brandon Shea.
Appreciate him.
Much.
I know he likes the KC team and the Cowboys.
That's right.
Shout out to Brandon.
That bell with the $5.
Oh yeah, that hits 420 now. 4 out of 20. We got 16 to go. What did the man Brandon have to say?
Said former Ravens. So TF. I'm guessing.
Maybe it's gonna be tight end.
Left tackle, maybe.
No.
Or a tight end. I'm guessing tight end.
Isaiah Likely.
Former Ravens tight end. Yeah, Isaiah Likely is signing a 3-year deal worth $40 million. The deal could be worth up to $47.5.
Yeah. How many years?
3-year deal.
That's a lot right there for a tight end. We got ours for like 11 a year. Damn.
Well, our tight end is probably not doing whatever Isaiah Likely is doing.
Isaiah Likely not out of this world. I'm just saying, like, he's all right. He's good. But I don't know if that's, again, they're paying for what they hope to find, what to see. So, hey, it is what it is. We weren't going to sign him. And again, I know you're looking at tight end as a possibility in this draft. That could happen, but I think it is deep enough we can find a player. Now,
we don't have many. Remove the Ravens from that tight end consideration.
Yeah, they probably are set there at tight end. Now, I just wanted to, just kind of talking about the tags. Of course, George Pickens got the main franchise tag. We have the second round tags on Brandon Aubrey and TJ Bass, offensive linemen, backup basically. We have 2 of our basic transition tags, which we only get to match. No draft picks back on them. That's Reddy Stewart and Josh Butler, both cornerbacks, both depth. And Josh Stewart was someone we had some hopes in, and he kind of was unable to play last year. So we're hoping that we can see more from him. The Cowboys also made a move and decided, and again, this is probably I'm gonna go to the coaches here. I'm gonna say this is probably a Christian Parker decision. Cowboys got rid and released defensive tackle Perion Winfrey, who was an undrafted free agent last year. We kept him on the team, kind of cut him and brought him back. It was a kind of stayed as a practice squad guy. Got into some of the game day stuff, but then was kind of clean scratches on those games. So anyways, by getting rid of him, we opened up $1.05 million in the cap. Winfrey, again, appeared only in 1 game last year, working his way back to the NFL through the UFL. So again, a failed attempt there with him. But more of probably a Christian Parker kind of look. Hey, Mr. Brandon again, Brandon Shea. Dropping that 5 on it, dropping some more news info and updates. What did the man say? As right now, we're 15 away. 15 drops away from hitting that.
Free agency news here. He's saying NFL Chiefs sign ex-Seahawks running back Kenneth Walker III, the MVP of the Super Bowl, for a 3-year deal.
That's a good
huge,
player.
Big pickup.
Good pickup. Good player.
And of course,
they also got Travis Kelce too. They extended him to a big deal too, a big signing. Situation for Travis Kelce. Yeah. So I'm sure that Brandon has that info.
Necessarily a good thing, but
we weren't sure if you want. We weren't sure. I think they gave him more. I'll tell you. I'll explain. I think it's something similar to what happened to Terrence Steele. More guaranteed money, but less time. Gotcha. So we'll see. But look, now we jump onto the offensive side, and you can look at someone like Clayton Adams, right? Our offensive coordinator. 2 years ago, he was with the Cardinals. Now he's with us. Last year, Christian Parker was with the Cardinals. Now he's with us. We took the Cardinals offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator. It looks like in the last 2 years. But the point is that Clayton Adams, all right, I think he was offensive line coach with the Cardinals. So Cowboys decided, whatever the reason, to not we tendered TJ Bass. We did not tender center slash guard, and started a lot of games for us. Had a lot of attitude for us. Brock Hoffman. So Brock Hoffman now, guys, will not be a restricted free agent. Anybody, he's unrestricted. Anyone can sign him. He's pretty much off this team. He started 14 games over the last 2 years with the Cowboys. Almost a whole year he started with the Cowboys. And he proved to be a valuable piece at corner, not just guard, but also, not just one side, left guard and right guard. So he had all three spots, kind of always was playing. Could put him anywhere you want there, but only 26 years old, and he's going to have a lot of interest out there. Brock Hoffman, again, a good backup, can play all three offensive line interior offensive line positions. And sometimes you can even look, and listen, I've made that comment sometimes as well. Brock Hoffman in the game, you can see the attitude. The offensive line sometimes even looked a little better when he was at guard or whatever the situation was. If somebody was injured, all of a sudden you see a little more ferocity out there. But now he's off the team, it looks like. Even though that the toughness, physicality was awesome to have on the bench, it looks like maybe he's going to be demanding more money, and that's maybe why the Cowboys are parting ways with him. But either way, the Cowboys, when it comes to Hoffman, they didn't want to get in a bidding war, and he could attract attention from teams seeking affordable depth on their offensive line. Probably somewhere in the $4 million plus annual range. All right, when you compare him to other unrestricted free agents, interior center guards, contracts from last year's free agency. So you're looking at 2 to 4 last year. This year is probably going to be like 4 to 5, 4 to 6. Brock Hoffman hit a jackpot, but not with the Cowboys. So he's off the team, and that's the way that. So we say let's save a little money, but it's all like $1 million here, $1 million there. But then the Cowboys said we got to get under this cap deadline thing here before the league starts in a day. So what do the Cowboys do? A lot of deals, a lot of restructures. Which is, guys, if you were with us on our last stream about 10 days ago, you would have caught the entire breakdown I told you about. Actually, I said it in the last 2 shows. Starting with Dak Prescott, guys, the Cowboys restructured 3 players. Starting with Dak Prescott, they restructured his 4-year, $240 million extension, which was signed in September 2024, and reduced this year's cap hit by converting $38 million of his salary into a signing bonus. So all that's going to be pushed over into avoidable years. So Cowboys took care of Dak there. The Cowboys then also restructured not just Dak's contract, but then next on the list, Tyler Smith was restructured, guys. Yeah, he's staying here for a while. Tyler Smith was restructured, and then with both Dak and Tyler Smith, we created $47 million of cap space. And then, of course, later on that same day, it was CeeDee Lamb. Oh, where is he? There he is. CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb, guys, then was restructured as well. And after he was restructured, the number went to $66 million of saved cap space right there for the Cowboys. So now a CeeDee Lamb's deal done, Tyler Smith's deal done, and Dak's deal restructured, all 3 of them. The Cowboys ended up $10 million under the cap at that point. And that is still with, of course, you could throw in there those moves I just mentioned, probably $4 or $5 million is releasing a little bit of dead weight, so to speak. So we're like $15 million under the cap there, and there's still moves to be made. And we made one today. I'll explain in a minute. But there's other guys out there that we can definitely get this cap lower with, such as defensively, Quinnen Williams. Some people don't want Osa, but Osa's another guy. Kenny Clark, an extension for him. You restructure Quinnen Williams, you extend him and or Kenny Clark for both. You know what I'm saying? And Osa, you can also, restructure his. If you do that with these defensive guys, you will free up another $40 million. So there's that ability as well. Also, other guys you can free up money with, and we've talked about this in the previous streams. Jake Ferguson, if you think we're going to keep him for a couple more years, is worth restructuring him. Another guy you think we're going to keep him for a couple more years, Deron Bland, you free up another $6-8 million there. So there's a lot of stuff we can still do, and that's with $10 million, $15 million under the cap currently as of this moment before the deals we made today. So in a way, you can think, well, these are things the Cowboys, if they're going to kind of save some money, we got to go all in now. Like, this is what it's about, right? So today, before free agency kicked off, there was a big move, guys, that was made. I'd say it's a big move on our offensive line, and that's with Terrence Steele. we thought that's one thing I was not Nostradamus about. I thought we were gonna cut him post June 1st and save a shitload of money. But today the Cowboys and Terrence Steele restructured his deal, and his new one now includes $22 million in fully guaranteed money with a base value of $33 million, up to $36 million in max pay. It creates $13 million in additional cap space room. So you're looking at easily $25, $26 million on the cap right now that we have open as of this moment. All right. Steele was set to get $48.5 million over the next 3 years. So he took a pay cut. All right.
He knew his ass was grass otherwise.
Yeah. I was going to cut him, guys. So he took a pay cut from $48.5 million to $33 million. But in return, this deal he never had any guarantees on. This current deal he was on. This new deal gives him $22 million in guarantees. So even if he gets hurt, he gets $22 million. But if he even plays 1 year, that's it. We can cut him at any time we want and not lose any money when it comes to that side of things. He has had no real guarantees prior to this year's kind of restructure. So he agreed to this to take less money, give him a little more guaranteed money in case something happens. And hey, you know what? Right now, if for some reason,
trade off, at least in my mind,
if for some reason it could still happen, what I had said, if we move Tyler Guyton over to the right tackle, it would make Terrence Steele a very expensive but worth it swing tackle. And I think that's something to kind of think about. There he goes to play guard, so he's like him with TJ Bass. That's pretty good. I'm assuming if we use the only thing we have to find then is a left tackle, which I keep saying, do not be surprised. We got 2 draft picks in the first round. There's a 6'9" monster there. Don't be surprised. Left tackle. You just never know. So, anyways, the point is a lot of mix and matching that could happen. That we get guys back in their original spots. Let me just tell you this, guys. He had basically Terrence Steele went from $48.5 million to $33 million. He can get up to 36 max. His bonuses are $10.5 million. You split over the years of the deal. In 2026, he's only hit us for $1.75 million on the cap. In 2027, $8.25 million on the cap. And in 2028, $10.25 million on the cap. $750,000 active bonus each year. He has the opportunity to get with $4.125 million of since with the earlier proration of his 2026 cap number being 8.75. Saving the Cowboys, again, another $9.4 million on the cap and $3 million worth of incentives tied to playtime and playoffs each year. So that's how we get all that money built up to that $33 million, but really only 22 is guaranteed. So keep that in mind. If we ever have to cut him, we're just basically delaying his cut in a way and seeing if we get some production out of him still. And maybe trying out Guyton on that right tackle side. We shall see. So if there's nothing there, we'll keep him going because in addition to Terrence Steele, the Cowboys also restructured the contract of number 28, Malik Hooker. Malik Hooker as safety. Now, people, we were thinking the Cowboys may cut him. He was a guy I was talking about. We may have to cut him. But Cowboys, just like, we can talk about the Terrence Steele situation.
I was going to compare him to Terrence Steele now.
We compare him to Terrence Steele, but he's basically solidified himself for now. So what do the Cowboys do with Malik Hooker? We created cap room this year in 2026 with him to try to add that aggressive free agency that one day we'll have one day, right? Well, maybe today's the day. So Malik Hooker on the contract breakdown, he goes to a 1-year deal worth $5 million for starting free safety. Mm-hmm. Not bad. He's been healthy too. Knock on wood, it stays that way. The max he can get, if with all the different incentives, is $8 million. Which means if he has an incredible year, makes the Pro Bowl, and we make the playoffs, he'll get $8 million. I'll take that.
Agreed.
He gets a bonus of $750,000, which we divide over over like 2 years of dead money. In 2026, he gets $2.75 no matter what. Even if he gets injured, he gets it guaranteed. And he has $1.5 million in active roster bonuses. It means he has to be on the active roster. And he can earn $3 million in playoff if we make the playoffs, and play time as well, playtime percentage. His cap number this year is going to be $6.558 million, saving the Cowboys $2.2 million against the cap. So again, we brought his numbers down, his base numbers down, saves money on the cap. So now that we got all our in-house stuff done, what do the Cowboys do in free agency? Because that's what we're up to. That's what the big deal of the day is. Let's just be honest about it. The Cowboys, were they going to sit on their hands again and give us the bullshit their way of clown show, behavior? When I say clown show, I mean these two guys. Are we going to get more of the Cowboys are going to maybe go all in the Jerry Jones way, which is sign a couple of your own guys that are like fourth stringers and say you did a great job, make them starters, No, it doesn't seem like that this year, guys. I got to take the clown show out the way because after these deals, this restructuring of money, and really we can do more if we wanted to, the Cowboys, we're trying to get Max Crosby. But he signed with the Ravens, guys, a couple days ago. Listen to this. He signed with them in a trade situation. The Raiders traded 5-time Pro Bowler Max Crosby. I want to know if you would have done this deal to the Baltimore Ravens in exchange for a 2026 and a 2027 first-round pick. The trade cannot be processed, of course, till next week, the new league year, but he's going to be a Raven. But the Ravens had to give up 2 first-round picks for Max Crosby, who had a bunch of injuries on his knee and surgeries. Now, the Cowboys were in the mix, willing to offer a first-rounder and a second-rounder to the Raiders for Max Crosby. I think they even threw in their OSA. But they didn't want him. They wanted to go with the picks, 2 first-rounders, not a first and a second. The Cowboys were going to give a second-rounder up. So, obviously, you're going to go for 2 firsts over a second and a first. Cowboys did show an aggressive approach in going after Max Crosby, though. We got to give them that credit, right? And
it wasn't just like the usual typical bullshit ass offers that we've seen before.
And they didn't freak out and overoffer a guy with bum knees. You know what I'm saying? The Cowboys showed aggressive approach, but then with restraint to not give up, all their picks in the first round.
And I'm going to be honest, I am very glad. Like, even what we were willing to offer is like already at the top of the ceiling of what I would have wanted to see the Cowboys offer for someone like Crosby.
Well, that's where the Cowboys stopped.
And I'm really, really glad that we seem to be figuring out some of our limits. I kind of made a joke very early in our stream that, apparently death is the only thing that can get Jerry to consider doing something different. So
what if Stephen Jones is holding, got his ear a little bit?
Hey,
who knows?
I'm just glad someone's got something. Tired ass Cowboy fan said, "Fuck no." FCF Senior, what's up? Football Fanatic said, "I'm so glad we didn't trade our pick."
Exactly.
So what's up, Motor City?
Motor in the house. Hey, and appreciate you, man. Much love to him. He's a Detroit fan, but he's got a lot of jerseys from the MCF family here. But Cowboys were involved in pursuing Max Crosby. That's a fact. We know that. He had 10 sacks and 28 tackles for loss last year as an edge rusher in 15 games played before the Raiders made him inactive and he had surgery for a meniscus tear in his knee, which to me is a big red flag right there. He missed a combined 7 games the last 2 years for ankle, and now you saw that knee injury, which, again, if he had that in the beginning of the year, he would have probably been out for most of the season. So, again, will he be the same guy? He'll be similar, but will he be the same guy? Cowboys did put forth a competitive offer for him, a first and a second. That's a lot. But they said they're not going to cut their own freaking corners and throats, basically, by giving up 2 first-rounders. So you can see that the offseason kind of roster building, the strategy. You can see the strategy is kind of, we're going to go hard, but we're not going to overspend stupidly, which is not the usual. Usually the Cowboys underspend stupidly. Let me put it that way. And sometimes overspend stupidly. So the Cowboys, you look at last year, the Cowboys paid the fewest salary cap dollars to defensive edge rushers of any team in the NFL last year. Remember, no Micah Parsons. All the money went to Green Bay there. So that's the highest amount. I'm sorry. We paid the least amount for edge rushers, but the highest amount for defensive tackles. Quentin Williams, Osa Odighizuwa, Frank Clark. Those 3 guys right there are like $40 million. I mean, at least. I'm sorry, $60 million at least. So the Cowboys play the most. So the big deal is getting an edge rusher. Chase Daniel, who's an NFL analyst, said, quote, "You cannot leave free agency without either landing a great pass rusher, for example, Trey Hendrickson or Max Crosby." Max Crosby, of course, off the table there. But the Cowboys, some people say that by doing this, by getting one of those kind of top edge rushers, the Cowboys will be Super Bowl contenders. I disagree. There's a lot more for the Cowboy defense to need fixing, not just an edge rusher. But the Bengals are not placing the franchise tag on pass rusher Trey Hendrickson, and the Cowboys are currently the favorite. They're shifting their focus to Trey Hendrickson. So that would be if we got someone like him, that's that you're getting yourself a top 5 to 7 pass rusher in the league, and then that's if we make a major deal there, right? Deals already have been made,
Mm-hmm.
and it actually presents that position at edge rusher. Let me speak on it. I don't know if we need to make that deal anymore. We got Jay Brandon in the house here. Mr. Shea dropping that $2 holler. Doesn't hit the goal, but he hits the board. What does the man say?
He said sources. The Dolphins trade Minka Fitzpatrick
Yep,
to the Jets.
that is true. That's a done deal. But I like our safety better. I'll explain in a minute.
Minka.
Let's start with thank you, Jay. Thank you, Mr. I'm gonna say Jay Brandon Jay.
We
Right?
got Jet Li in the house. What's up?
Hey, Jet Li in that place to be. Appreciate him here. Hope you're doing well, brother. So I wanted to talk about both deals that went down today. Now, both are not free agencies. Now, one was a trade, one was free agency. Now, the trade, we'll go to that. That happened first, and that was kind of a big deal, guys, because again, I just left off talking about edge rushers,
Mm-hmm.
and that's something I think the Cowboys are looking at in the draft. Still might be looking at in the draft, but the move that the Cowboys made today was, I think, a pretty decent move. Problem is, how long are we getting this guy for? So when you look at the trade today with Green Bay, this was Rashawn Gary. Defensive lineman, edge rusher, Rashawn Gary, I think fits Christian Parker's defensive 3-4 scheme. Now, he's a pass rushing master, this guy here. He was a first round pick in 2019, so he's a veteran. Packers are receiving a day 3 pick. It could be a 4th round, 5th round, 6th or 7th, and we know now what it is. 4th rounder, which is not what I wanted to hear. If we had said a 6th rounder, fine, but not a 4th rounder, guys. Not this year, but next year, 2027, we lose that 4th rounder. Now, let me say it like this. He has no guaranteed money left on his deal. So when you look at it like that, yeah, he still has a couple of years on his contract, but for this year, this is the only time you got to pay him. Next year, he could be cut, and there's no issue with the Cowboys getting hit on the cap. So it feels like it could be a 1-year rental kind of situation. That's why I say, how long will he be here for? That's the bigger question for me, trading him away. To me, though, it's about our defensive coordinator, Christian Parker. He was the defensive quality control coach back in 2019. That means he was very highly involved in the draft and what a team needed and what guys can do when you evaluate draft guys. And he's the one that drafted Rashawn Gary. So Christian Parker, our defensive coordinator, drafted him in Green Bay when he was their defensive quality control coach. That shows you that he knows that he's got what it takes to fit this defense. And that's a good sign there. That's the only thing. That's the reason I love it. The reason I hate it because it could be a 1-year rental, and we just gave away our 4th round pick in 2027. So, what do you think about that deal? Then that's not free agency. This is now a deal now. 4th rounder for a guy that we might have for 1 year, and if we keep him for his contract, it's going to be a very high costly deal. So, what's your quick thoughts?
I think it makes sense in the context of everything else that we've done so far, in the sense of it seems like we are being, like you said, a little bit more aggressive, a little bit different. So if you're considering that we're trying to kind of go all in, so to speak, I'm not opposed to this deal at all, because for a 1-year, you know what you're getting out of this guy rental, right? Especially because something else that I feel like hasn't really been discussed. Doesn't this feel like a Parker move? Potentially.
Yeah, well, I mean, I just discussed it. Yeah, I mean, the fact that he knows him from Green Bay.
Okay, so no. What I mean more in the sense of like, the Cowboys. It's not like, how do I explain this? It's not like he was on the Cowboys' radar before Parker came on the scene. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, so the fact that the Cowboys are already pivoting and moving this quickly, it's like basically they're not wasting time on certain things. And it's kind of like what, I can't remember who it was that said in the chat, but basically they're like, oh, it looks like free agency, we're focusing on everything else so that the draft can be more focused on the secondary. I feel like this kind of adds to that argument, in the sense of it seems like we're really focusing on trying to shore up some of the more urgent, pressing things from last season. You know what I mean? Plugging the biggest holes first as of now. And, we're coming out swinging, especially for the Cowboy standards. Like, obviously it remains to be seen how everything ends up working out, but
Well, let me ask you a question. That's my question here. It kind of goes to what does this do to the Trey Hendrickson possibilities when it comes to signing someone like Trey Hendrickson, who's even a better pass rusher than him, and is a guy that would be more costly, but he is a player that would be a bidding war type guy, not a traded guy.
I know.
He's traded from the Packers. There's no bidding war. It's just dealing with the player and maybe giving him an extension or cutting him next year. But when it comes to Trey Hendrickson, we'd have to outbid everybody else.
Yeah, it does,
so you think it's a replacement move?
It does feel like it. I find it very hard to see a universe where somehow we go after both of them.
It's a good second option because he is very in tune with, and as the coach is, Christian Parker in tune with him. He's in tune with the coach. So that's a good sign there.
To be fair, it also leaves our front office free to be aggressive, maybe in a different position, which is where I'm trying to kind of figure out, just what direction they're thinking of actually spending that time and that money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, because like I said, if this move came, let's say more last minute, right? I do think Trey was an option or was the thought process beforehand. Does that make sense?
Yeah, Trey Hendrickson.
Yes,
yeah.
absolutely.
I mean, I think he definitely was. I mean, it's known.
That's what I'm saying. We
he
wanted him. We know we were focusing on him, but we ended up pivoting in a different direction. Now that Parker's in the building, and now that we have feedback from our,
I think it's two reasons though.
Scheme and what direction we want to take.
I'm going to say I think it's two reasons though.
Okay.
I think it's because of Christian Parker.
Okay.
But he was our third choice behind Max Crosby, and then behind.
True.
Behind Trey Hendrickson, because let me explain why. Christian Parker was there already.
You're right.
So Trey Hendrickson is a guy that I think what the problem is there's a bidding war, and the Cowboys know it's going to be too expensive. They're not going to be able to afford to go and get.
They thought they could afford Max Crosby. Well, obviously, the Raiders decided different.
But that's based on trading. I'm talking about money wise. This is not a trade. This is a guy who was not tagged. Now he's a free agent. So when you talk about a trade situation, yeah, you talk about draft picks. You talk about a player, you're talking about cap. So now, and I say salary cap. I'll make sure for the young people out there. But my point is that for like a guy like Trey Hendrickson, he's going to go out there instead of getting him either on a trade or if the Cowboys didn't have Rashawn Gary, the Cowboys would then have to kind of overspend for him a little bit. You understand? Mm-hmm. So I think they went for the sure thing in Rashawn Gary rather than go in a bidding war and try to get Trey Hendrickson and overpay for him. They'd rather underpay for Rashawn Gary. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
Although fourth round pick is not underpaying, but it's about breaking even. Now we got Mr. Calvin Richard dropping that $2 holler.
That's right.
Owanye style. What do you say?
What if you bring Deshaun Wright back to help out?
Yeah, he is still a free agent. And, it's so funny that he was drafted by Quinn. Quinn, of course, long gone for 3 defensive coordinators ago. My thing is that would he help? Would he help? Would he be able to help? Has he learned enough? Do you trust him? Because I remember the bad Deshaun Wright. I don't know if he was just in a better scheme situation or what it was. Remember, that was Everfluss, though. So that was Everfluss's kind of bread and butter there. So that's a lot of scary things there, though.
No offense, Calvin, but I'll be the one to say no.
It scares me a little bit.
For me personally,
when Deshaun Wright had a great season, I mean, a fantastic Pro Bowl season, but I just don't know if it's like a 1 or 2 year thing and it's kind of go fizzle out. I just don't trust him. That's all. So thank you for that, Calvin. Appreciate you. Did not hit the goal there, but we're still 15 away, and we got what, an hour to go. So if that, because whenever the show ends, it ends. Hendrickson is a guy that would be extremely costly for the Cowboys, and the Cowboys still are cheap, even though they're willing to go and do stuff and make trades and do. So again, how cheap are the Cowboys? Well, we know we got Rashawn Gary on a trade for a 4th round pick. It doesn't seem like it's a major cap, and I'm sure that we'll get that information soon. But this is the bigger move to me, even bigger than Rashawn Gary, which is a fan. He's a top. Rashawn Gary is a top 80 player, and the top players of 2025. He's a top 80 player. Now he's an 80th player. So I'm just saying, and that's in all positions and all spots. I mean, that's fantastic. So Rashawn Gary is a wrecker in there, but we got a Christian Parker special, and this is why I think we don't need Jalen. This is why I don't think we need Caleb Downs. Because we have JALEN THOMPSON. Now let me explain here, guys. When it comes to safety, Jalen Thompson. Okay, let me just first and foremost say bye bye. Um, See you later, Donovan Wilson. All right. So this guy right here is basically can do everything. Is proven in the NFL that he can do everything that we say Caleb Downs can do. Cowboys have agreed officially to a 3-year, $33 million deal with safety Jalen Thompson. That's only $11 million a year, but still a lot for the Cowboys. $11 million a year for safety. Like, think about the position.
Mm-hmm.
Think about the money. $11 million a year for a safety. You don't hear that of the Cowboys ever doing something like that. And he has $3 million of incentives on top of that. That if he can hit, it'll be $36 million max on that deal. Jalen Thompson, guys, he's the first outside non-Cowboy free agent the Cowboys have signed that was more than $6 million since 2020. You remember that player that was? He didn't play a snap in our Cowboy uniform. Gerald McCoy. Gerald McCoy was our last over $6 million man. I think he got $7.5 million for Gerald McCoy, and then he snapped his knee, a ligament in his first fucking practice, and we never saw him on the field. So, and again, he was old already. So, Jalen Thompson, not old. Jalen Thompson is right there in where he should be in his career, and he's one of the better safeties. And I'll explain why for this defense with Christian Parker in a moment. But Jalen Thompson, guys, the first outside free agent, over $6 million per year since 2020 in 6 years that the Cowboys have signed. That shows you, yeah, we might pay Dak a lot of money and CD a lot of money and whatever, but we're not paying outside guys a lot of money until today.
We're going to Five Below for our guys.
Yeah, but until today, we got Jalen Thompson, guys. So Jalen Thompson, okay, his deal guarantees him $22 million over the first 2 years of this 3-year deal. So he's basically here for 2 years guaranteed. He has basically $9.7 million signing bonus, which again, you look at about that divided, it's about a little over $3 million split up per year per deal for that signing bonus. And then in 2026, he has a $1.8 million salary. Very little, very low cap. So you have that 1.8 plus, the $3.5 million or $3.3 million on the signing bonus. I mean, you're getting him for like $5 million, guys. I mean, when you add it all together and you got the guarantees and the incentives and all that stuff, $8.5 million is his. I'm sorry, $8.5 million is his 2027 salary next year. So the guy is cheap and all fully guaranteed at signing. So again, he's also getting an opportunity to get $1 million in game day roster bonus. So meaning if he's active and healthy, he gets $1 million every game. So I'm sorry, not every game, but he gets $1 million for the whole year. Like if he plays every game, he's active for every game, he gets $1 million. So keep that in there, guys. Now let me explain to you. Very good player, very versatile player. Okay, viewed as a safety with the flexibility to be able to serve as a nickel cornerback and a rover. When I say a rover, those responsibilities in Christian Parker's defense is specific. And there's a piece, this player right here, Jalen Thompson, gives the Cowboys flexibility. By getting him, you understand, we get flexibility in free agency and in the draft. You don't have to get a corner or a safety. You got one. You can get the best corner or best safety. If there's a safety that's out there that's really good and there's no real corners, guess who's going to be our corner? Jalen Thompson. He's going to be in the slot. But let's say there's a lot of good corners that when we're picking, but there's no safeties. Guess what Jalen Thompson's playing? Safety. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be he's a safety, but he's going to be roving into the middle, into the linebacker box, into the 8-man, into that box area. He's a guy that can do everything Caleb Downs can do in the sense of playing multiple roles, multiple situations, and multiple positions. So to me, this is a fantastic deal for the Cowboys. Fantastic. I'm really happy about this here, guys. And again, combining his abilities with what Christian Parker does is, I think, where you get the power up here from this signing. I want to reiterate that you got to remember Ryan Smith. Remember our cornerbacks coach, Ryan Smith, coached Arizona in 2023, 24, and 25. So he really knows him well. And again, Christian Parker. I know he's with the Eagles, but before they I'm pretty sure with the Cardinals, also knows of him. So, guys, he has a lot of connections with the Cowboys as well. Jalen Thompson. Um, I don't know what number he's going to wear, but that was his number there with the Cardinals, number 34. He had 95 tackles last year. 95. That means he plays the run support. He's like a little pseudo linebacker there. You know what I'm saying? That can come up there from safety and do better than Donovan Wilson can do when it comes to run stop, run support, blitzing the quarterback, covering tight ends, playing in the box, playing physical. So again,
much more usage, it sounds like, for sure.
Just and just like better than Donovan Wilson too. You know, he's more usage, but better than what?
Better all around.
Yeah, just better all around. So again, you got to remember this: the fact that we got a guy who can do like 4 different things means that we can grab a free agent or a draft pick that can do one of those things still. You understand what I'm saying? And then have him focus on the 2 or 3 things rather than 4 things. You know what I mean? So I think that's one of the major versatility, flexibility factors that he gives us there. Another thing I want to make sure that you guys understand, because of his knowledge with Cowboys cornerback coach Ryan Smith, who coached them for 3 years, because of the connection that he has with Christian Parker. The point is communication, which is very important in defense in any kind of system, but in any kind of scheme, especially a brand new scheme. On defense, communication should not be an issue. Rashawn Gary knows of Christian Parker, was drafted by Christian Parker's defensive quality assistant side of things. And then you have now this connection with the cornerbacks coach, Ryan Smith, when it comes to Jalen Thompson. So again, I believe the Cowboys might even go to a three big safety situation, big nickel, something that we saw with Dan Quinn. What I mean by that is you'll see Malik Hooker, you see Jalen Thompson, and you may see another guy in there like a Wanye Thomas, like a Marquise Bell. So there's that option as well, where you can actually now have almost 2 options to pick from there. Marquise Bell is more of a run-stopping type guy, right? And you got someone like a Wanye Thomas can cover more, you know, but both can do both, is my point. So there's a lot of things that Christian Parker is planning with the safety core here in this defense. And I kind of see what's coming together here. I like what's coming together here. No issue with communication. Jalen Thompson's a hard-nosed tackler. Again, I think he had 95 tackles last year, but he had 15 games. He played in 15 games out of 17, and he had 6 pass breakups last year. So I could see a lot of big nickel, him playing on the line of scrimmage. We basically we don't have to pay Donovan Wilson, which is an upgrade at safety. Plus, we save a little money not having to pay him. That saves us a little money on the cap. And think about this. Last year, around this free agent time, you remember who we signed?
Who?
Guys like Kenneth Murray Jr.
That's right.
Jack Sanborn.
Our favorite.
Already, without even the day even being here, the 11th, we already have signed Rashawn Gary, who's better than both those guys I just mentioned from last year. And we signed Jalen Thompson, who's better than both those guys I just mentioned from last year. So think about that for a second, guys. It's a big difference right now what's going on.
You got to appreciate the progress.
There is a progress going on, in my opinion. So, you know, when you look at defense, what positions do we get here? Let me put this. What areas of defense do we solidify a bit? Defensive line, right? Edge rusher, right? Defensive line. So what about the back end? Defensive backs. Secondary, right? A safety that can play corner, even in the box, strong safety, free safety, slot corner, box linebacker almost, right? So but we have secondary, we have defensive line. What are we missing?
I guess linebacker?
Yeah. We're Overshown roams. So what are we going to do to help out Overshown and Morris Leo Fowl and whoever's left over there, right? Well, Cowboys are doing their damnedest. Try to get a guy in here. So we were talking last time we went live. Do you remember what we spoke about? Nakobe Dean, right? Well, that's off the table, guys. The Cowboys were interested in him.
Okay.
He got signed to the Raiders. Now, let me listen to this deal. He got signed to the Raiders to a 3-year, $36 million deal with $20 million guaranteed. Now, he does have some knee injury issues from his college days, but that's basically about what? $12 million a year?
Feels very reasonable.
$12 million a year for starting linebacker Nakobe Dean.
How much guaranteed again?
$20 million guaranteed.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah, so the Raiders seem to get a good deal there, but the Eagles would not trade with the Cowboys. They had 3 free agents, Jalen Carter. They had some guys leave. None of them to the NFC, to the Dallas Cowboys.
The
So, and these are guys the Cowboys wanted. So again, Dallas is very competitive as well in the Kobe Dean discussions. Let's put it that way. Now,
cracks me out.
yeah. Now, listen to this. The Kobe Dean was one of the 5 Zooms that were allowed in these negotiations. He was one of them. So the Cowboys were serious about they're serious about linebacker is my point. So the offer was very similar to what the Raiders gave him. But ultimately, he said he went with his gut feeling, but he said he couldn't see himself in both places. Remember, it's not the Eagles making the decision. He's a free agent.
Yeah.
But he said he was 51-49 going Raiders over Cowboys. So he's scared to face his old team. Pussy. Either way, it tells you the Cowboys are trying. Right? I mean, the Cowboys were literally his gut feeling away from having the Kobe Dean and solidifying our 3 levels of defense today, before even the fucking new league year started.
Yeah.
We could have Kobe Dean as our starting linebacker, but overshown. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying now there's also a situation going on with Quay Walker from the Packers. Cowboys were also in the mix for Quay Walker. All right? Linebacker there. Ended up also joining the Raiders. All right? Walker had a Zoom call with him as well. And for the Cowboys, he was ranked higher on their board than the Kobe Dean. The Cowboys really wanted Quay Walker to not attain him. So that's 2 missed linebacker whiffs for the Cowboys. 2 whiffs at linebacker with the Kobe Dean and with Quay Walker. It's funny, they both went to the Raiders. But my point is that the Cowboys whiffed on both of these. It tells you the Cowboys are going for linebacker. So outside of the guys that are already out there already, today the Denver Broncos released veteran linebacker Dre Greenlaw. And he was formerly of the Niners. He was in the Super Bowl jumping up and down on the sideline and tore his knee. And that's how just by celebrating on the sideline, he tore his knee. I think he was running on the field, he tore his knee. Then Niners didn't really trust him. They let him go. Broncos signed him. They're releasing him. So he is a big-time physical presence of the Bronco defense. Had a great defense last year. He's now a free agent. But it has that knee issue, right? That it has that injury issue. If you're the Cowboys, you roll a dice someone like Dre Greenlaw to man the middle, since you lost your chance there for a couple of these other guys like the Kobe Dean, Quay Walker. Now, I also had made a mention of a couple of other guys that are out there that I think are possibilities that I think are still out there. So, there's still a lot of linebackers available. I know that the guy from the Giants, Bobby Okereke, he's out there. I know that I made a mention about, of course, Kobe Dean, but now he's gone. So Cowboys were ready for Quay Walker at that line. All these are linebacker spots. So now at linebacker, there's still a couple guys left. But again, Cowboys they know they got to make a move. So what does this tell me? One more day of kind of like tampering. Cowboys be tampering at that linebacker position today. Meaning today, as in if you're watching this on the 10th. Yeah, that's what I mean as a 10th. On Wednesday, the Cowboys are going to be looking for a linebacker. So do not be surprised to see that linebacker hit. Now, also, I'm wondering, do you see the Cowboys going after Trey Henderson? That's Hendrickson. Those are one of those. If we get a linebacker at Hendrickson, I mean, you can't really do much more on that right there. So the Cowboys would be going all in that sense, in my opinion, if the Cowboys pull something like that. But yes, right now, Dre Greenlaw is out there available. Bobby Okereke as a linebacker is out there available. To me, he's more of a, he's going to be your basic. I don't want to say he's kind of like a little bit better version of like Kenneth Murray, a little younger version of a Kenneth Murray. I don't really feel like I like that right now. This is just going off of like my thought. But Greenlaw could be an option, but again, injury prone possibilities. And does he fit? The main thing to me is, does he fit Christian Parker's, mindset of what he wants to do on the scheme on defense? And that's the big question. So we're pretty much wrapping it up here, I guess. It looks like we're not going to hit the goal. But nice try for everybody who did help out with that. I'm just double checking, making sure we didn't get any PayPals or any kind of Cash Apps for the Cash App King. So just making sure we didn't have anything more. But looks like we're going to only get stopped with 5 out of 20 as of right now. We'll have a little discussion moment here, though. So any comments and thoughts in the chat, maybe about any of these things, how you and I can give our quick opinions, and you guys can drop your last chance to drop your your money questions. Yeah, and we'll see where we're at. Right now, Marco Suckins at 71 points on that stream, but Nathaniel Thomas style.
Carl Young said, "Same old Cowboys. Jerry keeps lying."
Hmm.
Let me see. Akeem Sears said, "Please get Styles from Ohio State."
Hmm.
James Hurst said, "Dallas signs guys from Walmart." So let me see. Japanese said, "Give me Greenlaw. He's better than Dean and Walker, in my opinion."
And Quay Walker.
Mhm.
Huh. Well, I mean, again, he has a little bit of an injury issue, but yeah, he's going to be available. And again, I think that's that. Who's that? That the college guy from Ohio State that was just said the SS
Styles.
Styles. Is he a linebacker? Because I think if he is, he will be there at 12. Very possible the Cowboys go with a linebacker like that.
Well, there you
But
go.
that'll be very young and very new. You know what I'm saying? We have two other young guys there, like Overshown, who's been injured a lot, right? And you have Little Fowl, who's still kind of young and
No,
behind
but
the
that
ears.
still means that you can just go for a much more average, basic, mid-range, older, experienced linebacker, and
Hmm.
then, have your squadron of youths to make up for the rest. So I'm just saying that if that's the direction that the Cowboys go in, I could very easily see them doing something like that, just because I agree that, if we do get Styles at 12, there's no way that they're going to just allow, a bunch of babies to just kind of, run around going crazy.
Yeah, I
Like
mean,
they'll, I don't know who
one
the old
solid
guy
guy.
is, but they'll bring someone. They'll bring one elder into the building there.
Yeah, and an elder, we mean like 3 or 4 years. That's all we need. Yeah.
That being said, it'll be a miracle if Styles is there at 12.
Oh shit, that sucks. Yeah. Well, then I don't. Then we'll have
Hey,
to.
crazier things have happened, right?
Well, again, you can tell the Cowboys are going hard for a linebacker. They went after some of the better linebackers available out
Hmm.
there, and they're willing to pay a little bit of the price. So again, the Cowboys seem to be more focused on getting a linebacker in free agency than through the draft. We have our drafted guys, Overshown and Leo Fowl. You know what I mean? I think
Sounds so again, it sounds like they value a little bit more experience there
yeah, but when
than
you had experience like guys like Kenneth Murray, Sanborn, and who was that before that? Eric Hendricks.
yeah.
I'm saying you have these guys are just a little too slow for the defenses they were expected to do. We have to know we have to trust Christian Park. Christian Parker's looking for a certain type of middle linebacker type guy. So looking for that right now. That's where the key is. So any other questions, thoughts, comments?
No, we kind of rolled through all the rest of them here.
All right. Well, this is the final shout outs. I will start the shout outs by saying hit that like button, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell.
Hmm.
Make sure you follow us on all social media at MyCowboysFamily. We got a Discord deal. We got all that good stuff.
Hmm.
Uh,
Hey, you started. You can
yeah. Hey,
finish it
listen,
there.
we also got Londa Hanslu dropping a little love here tonight.
Mhm.
Thank you. All the way from Dolphin Nation over there. We got Calvin Richard dropping a couple in here with some great questions. And Brandon Shea, Brandon Shea, much love to you. With multiple drops of information about today's free agency through not just the Cowboys, but the NFL. So thank you, brother. Appreciate you all for being here, part of this one. Everybody in the chat, everybody dropped the love. We might go live in a day or two for some more Cowboy news if some bigger things happen. But I expect a linebacker to be signed by the Cowboys here soon. Mark my words, baby. Let's do shout outs. I guess let's finish it up with some shout outs. Let's go.
We have Japanese, Carl Young, Meatball Ron, Akeem Sears, James Herr, Dallas Cowboys R1, C Bass, of course, Drew Down,
Hmm.
all the way from Cali.
Yeah, see you, brother.
Kenzie Bands in the house.
Indeed.
We have rolling back. Just want to make sure we don't miss anybody. Calvin Richard, of course, Jay Palmer, Jet Lee 44, Motor City Maniac,
Motor.
Harley Dad,
Really nice. Yeah.
Brandon Shea, Football Fanatic. Let's see, MCF Senior,
Hi, Dad.
Tired Ass Cowboy Fans,
I feel you.
Scorpio, Daniel Berry Sports Highlights,
Wait.
Ronaldo Rodriguez, let's see, Style 185.
Yeah, speaking of style, Seabass says Downs is there. We're not going for Downs anymore, though. I think we got Downs as takeover as Jalen Thompson, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
That's actually as far back as it lets me go. So
No, again, all
there you
in.
go.
Cowboys aren't going to go all in as much as you may think, but they're going more all in than they have in the past, 20 years that I've known of the
Yeah.
Cowboys. So at least they're doing something different, it seems. Let's see if they continue revamping this defense with all this extra money they've made room with. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. and the next day, and the next day, and beyond through this free agent frenzy. Week one of it, phase one of it, and the Cowboys are actually involved for once. How's that sound? On that note, baby, why do we do this here on My Cowboys Family each and every time we have the possible time to do this? Why do we do this as often as we do, and as often as we have here on YouTube for almost 9 years?
It's that navy blue, that silver too, and that star over everything.
Win, lose, or draw, good, bad, or ugly, right here in this channel, right here in MCF, you know the deal. No matter what, you see it right here on my hat, on our check. That star over everything. That's what we represent. Here, My Cowboys Family on YouTube for almost 9 years. We're a couple months removed from 9 years of being on YouTube on this channel. Almost 45,000 subscribers. Shout outs to everybody. But never forget the number one thing here, now, and forever. As always, go Cowboys! Let's get that 6 and 26. You know how we do this. Thank you all for dropping your knowledge in the chat all night long. Thank you all for dropping your love from above. Calvin Richard, J. Brandon Shea. Thank you guys for dropping love from above. But before we can drop out of here for the night and get back in here when there's some more action going down for the Cowboys. Baby, what we got to do before we drop out for the night?
We got to drop the beat.
Oh, yeah. And now the beat officially has been dropped. Yes, it's dropped. Guys, thank you for dropping in with us here and hanging for a little hour and 20-minute, hour and a half show. Hope we got you caught up with all the news, info, and updates. Yes, now we're caught up now to up to the moment situation here. And I'm saying next up, linebacker. Keep that in mind. Linebacker is my guess. Some restructuring. Let's see what happens when we reconvene here at MCF. My Cowboys Family. And another Cowboys chat, guys, in this free agent frenzy. 2 down. We got some restructure on the left. We got some new players on the right. Jerry Jones looking fucked up as always. But here on this channel, on MCF, My Cowboys Family, it's about that navy blue, that silver too, and that star over everything. Never ever forget the number one thing right here, My Cowboys Family. You guys in the house. Can't do this without you all watching, responding, commenting. Thank you guys, dropping the love and support. Thank you all for being part of this thing. Don't forget to hit that like button for the stream. You can be anywhere. You're here watching us, listening to us, replay. Maybe a replay you're listening to right now. Hit that like button for the stream. Hit subscribe to the channel if you are new. Hit the notification bell on to all videos. And hey, follow us on all the different social medias like Instagram and I guess Twitter at My Cowboys Family. And of course, we got the Discord available as well. Guys, thank you again. Stay tuned for some more free agent frenzy. Hey, the Cowboys might be part of it this year. Looking like it so far. At least we're in the talk. Guys, take care, stay safe, peace, and never ever forget the Cowboys.
Monk on the beat.